So we'll simply start. We'll begin with my background. I'll give my introduction. My name is Arpit, and I have secured All India rank 875 in UPSC Civil Services Examination 2025. I hail from the town of Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. I've completed my graduation from Hindu College, University of Delhi, in political science. I graduated in 2024. Currently, I'm pursuing my post-graduation from Delhi University itself in political science. And after graduating from from Hindu College in 2024, I appeared for UPSC in 2025. And fortunately, we've been successful. I'll be talking about my strategy. We'll directly jump into it. First of all, let's talk about prelims. I know that the prelims fever is high right now. Not much time is left for 2026 prelims, which is scheduled for 26th of May. I feel like there are fundamental pillars about prelim strategy, and people need to understand that these core pillars are ultimately what is required to clear the prelim stage. First of all, on a priority basis, we'll talk about it. I think PYQs is the most important resource that we have out here. I recommend that we do the PYQs of at least 30 years, analyze each and every option, why a particular option is right and why the other three are incorrect. We need to know the reasons, because we see काफी बार क्या होता है, because of the wrong options एक नया सवाल बनकर आ जाता है आने वाले सालों में. मेरा मीडियम इंग्लिश रहा है. Somebody has asked that. So my medium was English throughout all stages of this exam. Coming back to PYQs, need to do thoroughly individual research and analysis of all the PYQs of at least 30 years. It's my recommendation. And for that, you can buy a compilation that is available out there in the market. Personally, I utilized the compilation of Arihan publication. I felt like that it was more or less holistic. The coverage was pretty well, and all the topics were covered thoroughly. By doing PYQs, you're not only building that aptitude for solving multiple choice questions, but you're also revising a lot of topics. In that way, you are also doing the coverage of the entire UPSC syllabus. So that is one thing that I recommend. Secondly, make sure that by heart you revise the NCERT. At least of class 11th and 12th, I recommend class 11th and 12th because that is something I feel like which is doable. काफी लोग कहते हैं कि क्लास 6 से भी करनी चाहिए, बट मुझे नहीं लगता कि इतना टाइम एस्पिरेंट्स के पास होता है कि क्लास 6 से हम सारे एनसीईआरटीज को पढ़ पाए हर एक सब्जेक्ट की. सो एटलीस्ट क्लास 11th और 12th की अगर आप एनसीईआरटी कर ले रहे हो, विच इज फॉर द फंडामेंटल सब्जेक्ट्स ऑफ ज्योग्राफी, हिस्ट्री, इकोनॉमिक्स एंड पॉलिटिकल साइंस, अगर आप ये सब्जेक्ट्स एनसीईआरटी कवर कर लोगे तो आपका बेस बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाएगा, और जब आपका बेस स्ट्रांग होगा तभी आप एडवांस लेवल पर जा पाओगे. तो मेक श्योर दैट यू आर नॉट स्किपिंग दीज फंडामेंटल बुक्स. Many people try to outsource these foundational course concepts from toppers notes or from some other coaching material. But I feel like that if you go to the original text where actually UPSC is making questions, I think that would be a more prudent strategy to go about covering your foundational subjects. Then the third pillar. Third pillar is practicing beyond PYQs. Here, the role of mock test becomes really important. From my personal experience, if I tell you, I attempted around 10 to 15 mock test, full-length mock test for prelims before I actually appeared for the paper. That not only enabled me to build that temperament, realize how I'm attempting the paper, devise a strategy for time management, and also preparing myself for such questions which I may not be 100% confident of. कई बार ऐसा होगा पेपर में, जो कि होता ही हर साल, एटलीस्ट 25 to 30 क्वेश्चंस ही होते हैं जो कि शायद आप 100% कन्विक्शन के साथ सॉल्व कर सकते हो. ज्यादातर क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होते हैं जहां पर आपको इंटेलिजेंट गेस लगाना पड़ता है. यू हैव टू यूज योर पेरिफेरियल नॉलेज टू गेट टू द राइट आंसर. तो यहाँ पर मॉक टेस्ट वो एप्टीट्यूड और टेम्परामेंट बिल्ड करने में आपको बहुत मदद करते हैं. और करंट अफेयर्स एक मेजर सेक्शन है जिस पर मैं अभी बाद में आऊंगा. मॉक टेस्ट में अगर आप रिसेंट को सॉल्व कर रहे हो, यू कैन पिक मॉक टेस्ट फ्रॉम एनी रेप्यूटेड कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट, तो फिर उसमें काफ़ी करंट के भी क्वेश्चंस होते हैं और क्वेश्चन के फॉर्मेट में होते हैं। जिस तरह से आप उस टॉपिक को पढ़ लेते हो और साथ ही साथ डिफिकल्ट क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने का आपका टेम्परमेंट भी बिल्ड होता जाता है साथ साथ में। ये हो गया। उसके बाद सबसे ज़रूरी चीज़ है मॉक टेस्ट के बारे में, उसका जो सॉल्यूशन होता है उसको थॉरली पढ़ना। मॉक टेस्ट अगर आप कर रहे हो तो सिंपली मॉक टेस्ट अपीयर करने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला। द रियल मैजिक लाइज इन गोइंग थ्रू द सॉल्यूशन दैट इज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स। उसमें क्या होता है, नॉट ओनली फॉर द क्वेश्चंस दैट यू गॉट इनकरेक्ट बट ऑल्सो द क्वेश्चन यू गॉट करेक्ट, उसका आप सोल्यूशन पढ़ो, क्योंकि उसमें हर एक टॉपिक के बारे में आपको काफ़ी नई इन्फॉर्मेशन पता चलती है जो कि कन्वेंशनली स्टैंडर्ड सोर्सेस में इनकॉर्पोरेट नहीं होती। तो फिर इसके थ्रू आपका जो नॉलेज का बेस है बहुत ज़्यादा एक्सपैंड होता है। एंड दिस इज द की टू प्रीलिम्स, यू हैव टू एक्सपैंड द होराइजन ऑफ योर नॉलेज, as much information you can gather, as much distinct facts and data you get to know, because you never know कब कौन सी चीज एक क्वेश्चन के फॉर्म में बनकर आ जाए। स्पेशली लुकिंग एट द 2025 प्रीलिम्स जो कि काफी फैक्चुअल बेस्ड था, you have to make sure that your coverage is broad. I'm not saying that run after reading every material that is out there. Limiting your sources is still one of the key concept that has to be kept in mind while we're preparing for this exam. But make sure जो PYQs करने से आपको इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स आइडेंटिफाई हुए हैं, जो थीम्स आपको पता चला है बार बार रिपीट हो रही हैं, उनसे रिलेटेड कोई भी अगर नई इन्फॉर्मेशन आपको मिल रही है तो फिर आप उसको पढ़ो। और जहाँ से भी मॉक टेस्ट के सोल्यूशन से या फिर आप कोई लेक्चर देख रहे हो, उन टॉपिक से आपको रिलेटेड कोई नई इन्फॉर्मेशन मिल रही है, तो मेक श्योर यू टेक अ नोट ऑफ इट, बिकॉज इफ यू सिंपली रीड समथिंग एंड यू आर नॉट टेकिंग अ नोट ऑफ इट, दैट सिंपली नो पॉइंट, क्योंकि आप उसको रिवाइज नहीं कर पाओगे, आप उसको रिकॉल नहीं कर पाओगे। एग्जाम वाले दिन अगर ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन आ गया तो दैट विल मेक यू एंग्शियस, दैट विल मेक यू नर्वस। सो मेक श्योर यू आर डूइंग दिस प्रैक्टिस so that you are gaining confidence and you are expanding the horizon of your knowledge. इसके बाद current affairs की बात करते हैं, which is the fourth pillar, as I say. Now, current affairs, there's a misconception among the aspirants who are more naive, who are new to the preparation. They tend to obsess too much over current affairs. See, maximum, if you look at the paper of any year, purely current affair based questions अराउंड 10 to 15 ही होते हैं जो कि पूरी तरह से आप कह सकते हो कि करंट अफेयर्स पर ही बेस्ड है। Many of the questions that are supposedly coming from current affairs, they are actually static questions who are like inspired by current affair from some current event। पूछा उनमें स्टैटिक ही है जो कि ऑलरेडी जो आप बुक्स पढ़ रहे हो उसमें कवर होता ही है। माई पॉइंट इज करंट अफेयर्स के क्वेश्चन काफी रैंडम होते हैं, so you don't have to obsess over them and you don't have to read every magazine that is out there of every coaching institute. What I will recommend to you, and what is also practical, what I did, is to make sure that you have it of newspaper reading. Daily basis पे आप newspaper पढ़ रहे हो. For people who are beginning their preparation, for people who have already appeared for the exam again, I think this is a very important habit, because सिर्फ prelims में तो आपको काम आएगा ही, means में भी your language aptitude, your ability to frame sentences, phrases, that also leverage you will gain while you develop a habit of reading newspapers. तो मेक श्योर कि आप न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रहे हो कोई भी एक। अगर आप इंग्लिश मीडियम है आपका तो हिंदू या इंडियन एक्सप्रेस दो काफी पॉपुलर न्यूज़पेपर्स है, either one of them you can go with. I personally read both of them selectively, not the entire paper cover to cover, because of the time obviously नहीं था। कोई भी एक पेपर आप स्टिक करो एंड मेक श्योर दैट यू आर रीडिंग द इम्पोर्टेंट थीम्स वहाँ पे आइडेंटिफाई करके आप पढ़ रहे हो। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंडियन एक्सप्रेस का जो एक्सप्लेन सेक्शन होता है, आई थिंक दैट इज अ वेरी गुड रिसोर्स, दे क्यूरेटेड वेरी वाइजली। वो आपके जो मेंस के क्वेश्चंस होते हैं काफी अलाइन होता है उसके जो आर्टिकल्स होते हैं, एंड इफ यू हैव थॉरली कवर्ड दैट सेक्शन particularly for economics, for science and tech, for environment, so you'll have a great advantage solving those questions in mains specifically. So newspaper reading एक चीज है। दूसरा, I understand that it's a difficult habit to maintain. What you can do at the end of the year, in like January, February, when it's the time to get into the prelims preparation, wholeheartedly. Compilations आती हैं coaching institutes की, current affairs की. There is this compilation by Vision, PT365. I think it's an excellent resource for different subjects. You can refer that. If you feel like that the entire year your current affairs preparation hasn't been up to the mark, you can selectively look at these compilations, specifically for subjects like science and tech, environment, polity, because उसमें जो questions होते हैं काफी current oriented होते हैं, and there even the repetition ratio is quite less in comparison to the conventional subjects. तो फिर I recommend कि आप कम से कम इन subjects के लिए तो पढ़ो ही जो compilation होती है, that maximizes your odds of getting the questions right. बाकी जो आपकी कोर सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, ज्योग्राफी, इकोनॉमिक्स, उनमें स्टैटिक क्वेश्चन ज्यादा होते हैं, और इवन इफ देयर इज अ क्वेश्चन हु इज लाइक एंटायरली करंट बेस्ड, तो मेक श्योर कि वो कट ऑफ डिसाइड नहीं करेगा. कट ऑफ जो डुएबल क्वेश्चंस है उन्हीं से डिसाइड होती है. इफ अ पर्सन इज नॉट एबल टू सॉल्व अ क्वेश्चन जो कि बहुत ज्यादा डिफिकल्ट है, तो इट्स द डिफिकल्टी लेवल इज सेम फॉर अ न्यू एस्पिरेंट, इट्स सेम फॉर अ पर्सन हु इज सीजन्ड, हु इज ऑलरेडी सिलेक्टेड. So that is my one recommendation, कि don't obsess over current affairs. Make sure that you are doing your static right, and if you have done your static right, you will be good to go. If you are not able to solve any particular question, remember that 99% of people will also face the same difficulty. This was about prelims. Now let me talk about mains. Now for mains, I think habit of making notes is very important, and you need to have your own notes. मार्केट में काफी सारे टॉपर्स के नोट्स अवेलेबल हैं, बट रियलाइज कि वो जो नोट्स हैं दे वेरी पर्सनलाइज्ड, एंड इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि आपको उतना ही हेल्पफुल वो नोट्स होंगे जितना कि शायद जिस इंसान ने वो नोट्स बनाए थे उसके लिए थे. क्योंकि नोट्स जब हम बनाते हैं तो फिर आधी चीजें नोट्स में होती हैं और आधी चीजें हमारे दिमाग में होती हैं. तो कई बार क्या होता है, वो नोट्स एक्चुअली कंटेंट के लिए नहीं होते, वो कॉन्फिडेंस के लिए होते हैं. सो वी नीड टू make sure that we are making our own repository of such content. That includes keywords, key phrases, things that we are likely to forget. For different people, they can be different things. So that is why I believe that notes is a very personalized thing. And a person, if is signing up to prepare for this exam, then they should accept this like fundamental truth, and they have to make their own notes. Talking about my experience, I was a person who relied more on digital resources, क्योंकि मुझे लगता था कि जो डिजिटल नोट्स होते हैं वो ज़्यादा कन्वीनियंट है ऑर्गेनाइज करने के लिए, ज़्यादा आसान होता है उनको अमेंड करना, उनको रिवाइज करना. नई इन्फॉर्मेशन अगर मिल रही है तो उसको मैं किसी तरह से मैं जोड़ सकूं, अपडेट कर सकूं, ताकि वो रिडंडेंट मेरे नोट्स ना हो जाएं. तो इसलिए मैंने तो डिजिटल नोट्स काफ़ी एक्सटेंसिवली यूज़ करे. वन नोट मेरा गो टू टूल था, डिजिटल टूल. Many people also use Evernote. That is also an excellent tool to organize your notes. But ultimately, the decision lies up to the respective person. अगर आपको लगता है कि पेन एंड पेपर से आप बेटर रिटेंशन होता है आपका, तो फिर आप पेन एंड पेपर से अपने नोट्स बनाओ. If you feel like that digital notes can work for you, like they work for me, go with the digital means. But make sure that you are making your own notes. I will be sharing my digital notes so that you can get an idea of how to go about making note making. I myself referred Utkarsh Trivedi sir. He is a topper of I think 2022 batch. So I was really impressed looking at his resources and how he organized. So I'll be sharing my own resource. From there you can get some idea if you're looking for some. Answer writing. Let's talk about this. I think this is the most non-negotiable aspect about this exam, because it is the skill that is going to determine whether you will be in the list or not. So make sure that you're starting with building this skill very early. Don't wait till perfecting your knowledge, doing holistic coverage of the syllabus. That is something जो कि कभी नहीं होने वाला है. And any person who has prepared for this exam, who has cleared this exam, will agree to that fact. आपको as early as possible आंसर राइटिंग के लिए लगना है, and pick up the pen, follow the format, intro, body, conclusion. Make sure that you're perfecting your template and at least your hands are getting to move. आप पहले इस फॉर्मेट को परफेक्ट करने के लिए जाओ, कंटेंट बाद में आ जाएगा. कंटेंट इवेंचुअली कम्स as you get to read more, but you have to start with writing wrong answers, bad answers, so that a day can come when you're writing good answers, answers that match up to the level of toppers. For this, refer to topper copies. For different GS papers, many people have scored differently. Not every topper has scored good in every paper. So for different GS papers, look at people who have scored good there. For your respective optional, look at the topper copy, the person who has scored in your optional. For me, it was PSIR. So I looked at the copies of Ishita Kishore ma'am. I looked at the copies of Harshita Goyal ma'am, the way they wrote their answers. So I tried to meet that benchmark so that my quality of answer is also resembling to some extent the way they have written. So do this practice and internalize this. Make sure that you have this threshold in your mind of the quality that you have to meet someday. Eventually, answer writing dikkat hogi. You will not be able to write good answers in the stipulated frame of time, but eventually hoga, practice hogi. Begin with writing 5 answers, for example, then move on to writing 10 answers at a time, which is like a half length test. Then move on to write full length test, which comprises 20 questions, and you have to write that within 3 hours. When I first attempted a full length test, it took me around 4.5 hours to write the entire test, way more than what is given to us. But realize this कि मेंस वाले दिन क्या होने वाला है. You will be writing 2 papers for an entire week, 3 hours each. Total for 6 hours you are only writing, and for 8 hours you are sitting because you also have to reach the exam center before a particular time. Gate बंद हो उससे पहले आपको पहुंचना है. So there is a lot of sitting. काफी stress होने वाला है. The entire process is very tiring. I think means is a process that will transform you as a person, and you will not be the same person after you have like attempted and completed the entire means duration. So remember what you're going to face and accept this reality, accept that uncertainty, that everything will not be fair to you. You will face setbacks, you will face challenges, you have to push your limits, but ultimately all of that would be worth it, because what this exam deserves, what this exam demands out of you, it gives you back way much more than you can imagine. So these are the things. For interview, so I was very nervous after my interview because I felt like that was not able to perform up to the mark that I had expected, I had in my mind. After attending various mock interviews, I felt like that there's a certain benchmark that I have to meet. So I was not really satisfied. But that's the beauty of interview. You will not be able to judge your own performance. You are not a person who's best at assessing yourself. So when the scorecard came out, I realized that I had scored exceptionally well in interview. I got a score of 197. What helped me? It was nothing but simple things. What you may have already heard from a lot of people. Be honest, be integrated, and stay true to yourself. Don't try to pretend anyone else that you are not. Don't try to bluff around, accept your ignorance when you feel like that you don't know enough. Say sorry whenever it is needed. So these are the things that I did. It was Sujata ma'am's board, and I think in a row there were 4 to 5 questions that I knew little about. So without hesitation, I straightforwardly said, "Ma'am, I'm sorry. I have to read more about it." So I think these are the things that helped me. Interview is not about knowledge. Your knowledge is already tested through prelims and means. Interview is all about uh, looking like a good person, looking like a pleasant person, a person who is civil, a person when given responsibility will perform up to the mark and will meet up to the aspirations of people. So interview is about being true, being genuine, and uh, embracing the pleasant personality you are. So these are things, and this was all about different stages of exam that I had to share with you, all the insights that I have gathered over time. Now, we look at the questions. If there are any questions to be asked. Motivation, kahan se mila tha, sir? All right. So for me, it was quite natural because my father is also a civil servant. Throughout my upbringing, I have been a witness to this profession. the scope, the dynamism, the satisfaction this profession provides to a person. So I felt like uh, meaning and purpose is something that I always look forward to. So there, civil services acts as a great avenue where you can not only fulfill your personal aspirations in terms of the contribution you want to make towards society, but you can also have a life which is full of meaning, where you are actually making a change. You are bringing smile on people's face. So that is was something that really motivated me and drove me throughout the years. That led me to pursue this as a career. For economy and geography, see, as I said, uh, जो क्लास 11th and 12th की NCRTs हैं, इकोनॉमी और ज्योग्राफी की, मेक श्योर दैट यू आर थॉरली रीडिंग देम. एंड स्पेशली जो क्लास 11th की ज्योग्राफी है, जो छोटी सी पतली सी बुक है, I think that is the single most important resource and most underrated resource, because many people tend to skip that, wondering that it's like such a slim book, इससे क्या ही होगा. But believe me, अगर आपने उस एक बुक को अच्छे से कर लिया, तो एवरी ईयर एटलीस्ट 3 to 4 क्वेश्चंस आपके फिक्स हैं जो कि आप सॉल्व कर पाओगे, क्योंकि ज्योग्राफी का वेटेज हर साल काफी रहता है और इंक्रीजिंगली बढ़ता जा रहा है. तो मेक श्योर कि आप उस बुक को एटलीस्ट अच्छे से पढ़ रहे हो. उससे बुक के टेक्स्ट से डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस आते हैं लास्ट ईयर, जैसा कि हमने देखा था. अगर आपको लगे कि फिर भी आपकी कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी उतनी बढ़िया नहीं है, तो फिर जीसी लियोंग एक बुक है, एडवांस टेक्स्ट है थोड़ा, नॉट स्पेसिफिकली प्रिस्क्राइब फॉर यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स, लेकिन आप उसको भी पढ़ सकते हो अगर आपको लगे कि आपकी कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी में दिक्कत आ रही है. एंड देयर आर ऑल्सो वीडियो लेक्चर्स अवेलेबल ऑफ अमित सिंह गुप्ता सर ऑन यूट्यूब. यू कैन रेफर टू हिज चैनल्स. काफी ब्रीफ वीडियोस होते हैं जिसमें वो काफी क्रिस्प तरीके से हर एक चीज समझाते हैं. ज्योग्राफी के जो सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं उसको आप रेफर कर सकते हो. मैंने अपनी प्रिपरेशन के दौरान रेफर किया था और मुझे काफी हेल्प मिली थी उनसे. For economics, make sure, apart from these foundational texts, you're thoroughly covering the economic survey, the budget of your respective year when you are preparing, because directly questions again वहाँ से भी आते हैं. और काफ़ी आपने थ्योरी पढ़ी होती है इकोनॉमिक्स में, आप देखते हो how it manifests in the real world. और जो questions आ रहे हैं prelims में, they are very much applicable in nature. You need to know how to apply the knowledge that you have learned through these classic textbooks. तो अगर आप इकोनॉमिक सर्वे और बजट पढ़ रहे हो, अगर पूरा टेक्स्ट नहीं पढ़ पाओ तो समरी भी पढ़ लो. आई थिंक दैट इज मोर देन सफिशिएंट. जीएस और एथिक्स की स्ट्रेटजी. सी, फॉर जीएस, one thing I told you, answer writing skill, making sure that you are perfecting, the format in which answers are written. Nowadays, people are also becoming very creative. They are also using unconventional ways of writing answers. For example, flowcharts, semicircle, and through different arrows, they're writing their points. So that is one way to increase the coverage and also maximizing the number of points that you can write in any answer under any subheading. So if you be very creative, nowadays, this authenticity, this creativeness is something which is highly being rewarded by UPSC. And the format है, उसमें decoding the questions, identifying the current subheadings that one has to make, making sure that you are addressing all the parts of the question. Writing fancy stuff will not fetch you marks. It's about holistic coverage, making sure that you are answering what is being asked. This is one simple thing many people forget, but if you get it right, believe me, you'll get more than average marks in every question. And even if you are able to score half a mark more, so in the entire scheme of means, counting all the papers, that makes a huge difference. It can be the difference that may get you into the list or get you out. So make sure that you're focusing on this skill, identifying the subparts, and holistically addressing the demand of the question. Essay writing. For essay writing, a few tips I will give you. Don't try to stick to any particular template. For essay, let your thoughts flow freely. As much innovative you can be. Bring that emotive aspect. Bring, metaphors, the poetic language, the vocabulary that you must have learned by reading different books, different literature. If you are able to incorporate all that within your essay, you will be able to fetch way more than what average aspirants are getting. In recent years, the score of essay has been dipped, and that has been surprising. But because of the simple reason, there's a shift towards innovative methods of writing essay. So one practice I'll suggest you is to look at the copy of Harshita Goel ma'am. Last year she secured AIR2. The way she has written essay, she was last year highest scorer. You'll definitely get a lot of insights, and be authentic as general advice for this exam. In essay also, if you're being authentic, that will really help you to give more marks. My optional was PSIR. All right. I think we are exceeding the time limit. Uh, Thank you for having me, and have a good day. All the best. I'll be sharing the link to my notes, digital notes that I prepared, and I wish all of you a bright future, and do reach out for any doubt. Have a good day. Thank you so much, UPSC time.